Welcome to the Business Happy Hour with your hosts, Frank Cotto from Lincoln Lending Group, Ryan Pelkey from Tampa Bay Plumbers, and Doug Ford with Suncoast Roofing Solutions on 970 WFLA. These three business owners will teach you how to work to live it up, not live to work. Now sit back, grab a cold one if you have one, and get ready for some serious business talk with three hilariously serious business owners. Now, your host of the Business Happy Hour, Frank Cotto.
Hey Tampa Bay, welcome back to the Business Happy Hour. Good morning, good afternoon. Hopefully you're catching us live on Facebook at 12:30. If not, you are listening to us on 970 WFLA, and it is a beautiful morning. Hopefully it won't be too much rain today. It's been a killer week in rain, right, Doug?
Oh, it's been awesome.
Rain and money for Doug.
Helicopter funds.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Doug sold all his golf balls with all this rain. He doesn't even need them. It's amazing. So in studio, of course, my host, Doug Ford, owner of Suncoast Roofing Solutions, 888-888-ROOF, and he is going to be busy. And we've got Ryan Pelkey, the owner of 813 Plumber and Tampa Bay Plumbers. I imagine the rain's good for you too, huh?
Yeah, it's like helicopter money for us as well.
Helicopter money. Is that like what Donald drops from the helicopter for us?
No, that's what Obama drops.
Oh, that's what Obama. I thought he dropped government cheese. No. so speaking of Obama, we've got
already throwing them.
I was so nice in the pre-show. So we have an awesome guest with us today, and you know how we love having a little bit of dissenting viewpoint. Doug just isn't enough sometimes. So we've got Amanda Murphy. Thank you for coming, Amanda. Amanda is actually a former Florida Congresswoman. She was the House of Representatives for Pasco County from 2013 to 2016. Thanks for coming on the show.
Absolutely. Glad to be here. And it is the Florida State House, not Congress.
State House. Yeah, you know, Congress sounded so much cooler.
Oh, yeah. I don't want to be up in that chaos.
No, I'm sure there's plenty of chaos that you have in the State House, right?
Absolutely.
So, Amanda, you know, have very tough skin. We came in joking with her this morning, saying, hey, we're going to be nice. She's like, don't worry. I have to deal with those idiots up in Tallahassee all the time. So,
made us feel a lot better.
Yeah,
more at ease.
It sure did. But,
and we'll see how it goes.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. We've already versed her in on our craziness. So, we've got a couple good topics to talk about. And as you know, we do like to start out with some local stuff and then some national news and whatnot that's going on around the world. If you're not living under a rock, my favorite term. So most recently, we had the whole London Bridge accident.
Yeah, accident.
No accident.
Well, you're right. See, that's a bad term. It's not an accident. It was a radical Islamic terrorist attack.
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
Yeah, it was three guys that were in a van. They swerved off the side, plowed over a bunch of civilians, and then got out of the car and started stabbing people.
Yeah, no guns?
Well, they got shot, I believe, by the cops.
Oh,
right?
I mean, good guys with guns stop this?
Yeah, actually, and I guess the cops have been praised for the response time was pretty good. They from the time that it started to the time they were dead was 8 minutes, I guess.
Whoa,
wow,
that is
pretty
good.
quick.
Yeah. Well, considering 90% of cops in England do not carry guns, I think that 10% that was pretty lucky they got there within 8 minutes.
Maybe they should carry hammers.
Hammers. Speaking of hammers, Ryan, glad you brought that up. Anybody heard of Notre Dame, right?
Yeah, I've heard of it once.
Yeah, once. Not the college guys. We're talking the actual cathedral, okay? And so right after, was it the next day, something like that, a couple days later?
I believe so, yeah.
There was a hammer attack in Notre Dame. Hammer.
Yeah, guy says, this is for Syria,
Yeah.
and hits a police officer in the head with a hammer.
Kills him?
No, I don't think it killed him. It didn't kill him, but the cop shot him twice, and the attacker survived.
Man.
So they're ripping his fingernails off right now.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
That's what we hope is happening.
That was a joke, obviously.
I mean, first of all, the problem that this guy clearly wasn't trained in America. You don't just shoot twice. You have 17 rounds in that gun, okay?
Only if you live in Polk County.
That's right. Wait, hold on. Let's see. You're Polk or Pasco? Yep.
I'm Pasco.
Yeah, same thing, right? No, she's like, no.
No. And I will say the chief of police in downtown Newport Richey, I talked to him about guns versus knives. And he said that it is more likely that you'll be killed by someone with a knife because you don't know it until they're so close to you in order for them to kill.
Yes. Okay. So I love you brought that up. So I've talked a lot about the Reload firing range over on 19. I don't know if you had a chance to visit, but it's a beautiful facility. And what they have there is a police training simulator. and it's a 360-degree simulator where you wear a shock belt, where basically when the perps shoot back at you, you get shocked. So it's very real, interactive. One of the training things that they taught you is that someone can close the gap between you and them if they have a knife in something like 0.3 of a second. I'm 20 feet away. It's amazing. So one of the scenarios is there's a guy standing literally across the parking lot, and he clearly is brandishing a very large knife, and you're the officer, and you're not supposed to shoot obviously until the danger is coming towards you. But the whole thing is these guys can get to you with that knife before you can even have time to take it out of a holster and react, and
absolutely.
You're done. So that comment I find very true is knives are as dangerous, if not more dangerous than guns, because people don't take them for granted. They don't realize that somebody can actually get to them that quick, and one cut in the wrong spot, you're a goner.
So hard to be a police officer and be put in those positions.
Terrible. Anybody who thinks a cop's job is easy needs to go to Reload, pay the $20 to get in that simulator, and get shocked 4 or 5 times in these things. No joke. I mean, it blows your mind.
Yeah.
So the whole thing about the knives, and the reason I bring that up as well is we're obviously advocates. We're pro-gun guys in here. But people, we joke every time something happens. What am I going to ban a van now? Am I going to ban a knife? Am I going to ban a hammer? Laws, in our opinion, and of course I want yours, against guns, they don't really stop the bad guys. If you're crazy, you can't stop crazy with a law.
No, absolutely. And I'll go ahead and say I own a 38, so don't break into my home.
Love you. Yes, yes.
But the problem that I have is so many people are carrying guns who are not in training. And if you're going to carry a gun, or even me in my house, you need to be shooting on a regular basis so you know what you're doing. And the cops will tell you, if you want to know what it's like for someone to break into your home, go run for a half hour and then shoot and see how accurate you are.
Great point, the adrenaline.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Even they make mistakes, for goodness sake. So if you're going to carry your weapon, you have to know what you're doing. Otherwise, it will be taken from you and used against you. That's just the way it happens.
Yep. Now, we've had, what's Chip, what's his last name? LeBlanc. We've had him. He's a former LEO here in town, and he has an awesome website. And we talk about that whole training. And one of the shows a few weeks ago we talked about was the difference in what handgun people should choose, especially if they're inexperienced. And they talk about the difference between a revolver and a semi-automatic. And it brings up the point, A, even if you are experienced, that adrenaline is going to throw you off, okay? But then B, choose the right gun. You said you have a 38. I assume it's a revolver. Great gun for you to have. Very minimal chance of malfunction. It's kind of a point-and-shoot weapon. You don't have to worry about jams, stovepipes, things like that.
Double-ported, so it doesn't have a large kickback, and it has a big handle, so it's comfortable. But I went and spent time looking at what I was going to purchase.
And I do not disagree.
That was a very good choice.
Great choice. Absolutely great choice. And I don't disagree. People should have the training, and we favor open carry. Okay, help the criminals if they see a gun. Chances are they're not going to commit a crime. You would hope, but I agree with you on training. You should be trained. I would have no problem if you're allowed to open carry to take some sort of test or course every 6 months.
I'm surprised they don't make that a law, but I guess
right. And I did not vote for open carry. I'm going to go ahead and put that out there, only because the police already have enough trouble trying to decide who's the good guys, who's the bad guys.
Right.
And plus, some of my friends, NRA members, said, I'm not going to open carry because if that person comes in this building, I don't want them to know that I'm the one with the gun, because I have a better shot than sitting here with my weapon, and I'll be the first one they come in and take out.
Those are good points.
That's a good point too. I think that's a valid argument.
We got to ask Chip what his stance is on open carry.
I don't think we do.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever asked him that.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So that it's for your listeners to think about open carry. Before the end of the segment, do want to bring up. So we've got the guns. We're not going to ban vans or knives or hammers anytime soon. No. So let's stop banning guns. But then again, England is not the greatest place to own a gun either. What else we have in here? Rain, Doug, lots of rain out there. That's good.
But don't forget about Orlando. There was a disgruntled employee that went on a shooting spree 2 days ago as well.
Okay, yeah, Orlando. That was insane.
That was I think it was one year anniversary of the Pulse shooting, right? Was it right
I didn't
about
know.
the same
Is that
time?
the exact same time?
About the same time 1 year ago.
Well, hey, I just heard that we've got Ryan Torres with Lincoln Lending doing the 813 Sports Minute. He's on the phone right now. I promised him we're going to do it in the first segment. So let's rock and roll and get Ryan on the line.
How's it going, Tampa Bay? Just wanted to give you guys a few bullet points here on sports coming up. Monday, we will be having the baseball draft, so tune in for that. Rays have the 4th pick, and just wanted to give a shout out to the Seminoles, who are advancing to the Super Regionals and would have played yesterday against hosting Sam Houston in Tallahassee, and University of Florida also made it, hosting Wake Forest, which will be very nice. Both Florida teams making it there. But most importantly, want to talk about a little bit of a mortgage product here, guys. If you have any first-time home buyers or people looking for a primary home, I just learned this myself today, and I didn't know this before, but if you want to purchase a duplex and earn some income as a primary use, buy it as an FHA with 3.5% down, because conventional requires 20% no matter what on a duplex. So I think that'd be a great way to make some money and pay for your own mortgage at the same time.
That's great. Thank you, Ryan. That's a new product available.
Is that duplex and triplex, or
it's only up to duplex.
Gotcha.
Actually, it's 1 to 4 units FHA.
No. Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Did the boss just get corrected?
It's not first-time home buyer. That's just anybody.
Well, Ryan, you corrected me. That's something I just learned. So you guys hear that now. You can use an FHA loan with only 3.5% down to buy yourself a multi-unit property up to 4 units. Now, there is a caveat, though. You have to live in one of those units. And guys, don't try to defraud the bank. Bank mortgage fraud is bad. We got to keep Trump happy with us. We don't want to be committing mortgage fraud over there. So that's a great product, Ryan. 3.5% down, and as usual, Lincoln Lending Group. You call 813-MORTGAGE. You drop the E. We're going to drop the fee. That means we're going to charge you no bank fees, no processing fees, no underwriting fees. And Ryan is a great guy to take care of it for you. So you can call Ryan directly at 813-928-5984, or just call 813-MORTGAGE. Drop the E, drop the fee. Ryan will take care of thee. So that was pretty. That was horrible.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for having me as always, Tampa. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you, Ryan. Think you heard it right here, guys. I'm going to take a quick break. You're listening to the Business Happy Hour on 970 and live on Facebook. We'll be back in just a minute with more Amanda Murphy. Talk to you in just a second.
Everyone has a bank, but you definitely need a Frank. Lincoln Lending Group specializes in mortgages that banks won't touch, like loans for people with 1 day out of foreclosure, bankruptcy, and short sale. Call Frank today at 813-MORTGAGE, and remember, you drop the E and he drops the fee. Call Ryan at 813-PLUMBER for the most reliable professional plumber in town. Tampa Bay Plumbers is available day and night for your emergency plumbing needs. Find them on the web at tampaplumber.net and get a coupon for service. Do you have a roof leak but no one to trust? You need to call Doug with Suncoast Roofing Solutions at 888-888-ROOF, where honesty, integrity, and craftsmanship come first. Find them on the web at suncoastroofingsolutions.com. And now, your host of the Business Happy Hour, Frank Cotto.
Hey, Tampa Bay, welcome back to the Business Happy Hour. We're already having a good show over here with Amanda Murphy, the House of Representatives member from 2013 and 2016 in the state, not the national.
So what's it like being a woman? You know,
A woman in general?
kind of like a man's, kind of like the whole man's world up there.
What's it like being a woman in
Well,
our
my
world?
first job was in a man's world too, being a financial advisor.
Okay.
That's a man's world too.
But
so,
being on the
but
house, how was that?
It's whatever you make of it.
Did you grow
But-
some thick skin because of it?
Well, just the campaign process makes you grow thick skin. I mean,
I
as a
bet.
woman, they said that I was everything but a prostitute most of the time. So, and I had an evening gown that was red and it was sequined and split up to my thigh, and they posted that on every mailer against me. And look at that woman. So yeah, you gain thick skin, and I'm that person. I don't care. I know who I am, and whatever you need to do to make yourself happy, go for it. Because at the end of the day,
Well, that's good. I'm sure a lot of people will crack under those conditions.
yes. And, you know, so you're up there and the majority are males, but I got along with most of the people. I think there might be 2 or 3 people that I didn't get to know, or I didn't like them once I did get to know them.
Now, once you're in there, obviously you're respected because of where you're at, I assume.
Oh, no, absolutely. And for me, my first campaign was a special election. So there was nothing else going on in the state. Literally, the Republican Party put about $1 million against me to my $300,000 for a Democrat. And every elected official in the state of Florida was in Pasco County knocking on doors. I need to let you all know that there are no statewide elected Democrats. So we had Pam Bondi there. I think the governor probably came through at one point. How many state reps? There were only 40 Democrats on the House side. The rest of the 120 are Republicans, so they were all knocking doors. So
The
everyone,
Republicans were knocking doors
Yeah.
against you. Okay.
right? And
So
the
they
Dems
outspent
came in.
you, and they outspent you and had a bigger ground game, and you still beat them.
They all spent
Yes.
3-1. That's crazy.
How did
Right.
you do that?
I
The red
actually,
dress. It was
That's
the red
right. It was the red dress.
It was the thigh. It was the thigh.
I know. Dang it. That's what those girls have on us.
Hey, you got to work it, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
It was actually they had a terrible candidate for one thing. He did not have a great presence. I grew up in that area, knew the people. I am involved in a lot of local organizations because I believe in giving back my time. I've been very blessed, and so I think I'm a part of 7 different organizations. So the community knew who I was. The Republican who had the seat before me finally came out and endorsed me and said that I was the better candidate.
Oh, wow.
And it just pushed it over the top. There was no way, no matter how much money that they put at it, they weren't going to win that cycle.
Wow.
Wow, that's really cool.
Now, who'd you run
That's
against?
really cool.
Bill Gunter, he was a local minister up there.
Huh.
And he's actually running again for the seat next to the one that he lost.
Oh, so now against a 21-year-old?
Yeah.
Not against a 21-year-old, yes.
Different. Yeah, tell us that. I want to go back to the whole election thing, but tell us that story about you got in and you ended up getting beat by like literally a child. I mean,
Yes, she was in college at UCF, so she wasn't even living in the district. She turned 21 the 3rd week in October. I can't remember her birth date. I probably should. But, yeah, so at that point in Pasco County, Trump was the clear winner.
oh yeah.
And we knew that if the numbers for Trump kept going up, there was nothing like I could do, just like Gunter the first cycle.
Right.
Trump won by 21 or 22% over Hillary in my district. I lost by 1%.
Wow.
Oh my God.
So I still had my Republicans behind me, but so many people that had not been a part of the process
Yep.
came out this last cycle.
Yep.
I met a woman who hadn't voted in 42 years, drug her husband out to vote for Trump and straight party.
She was the one.
Yeah.
That was the one.
But think about it. That's just one. That happened over and over.
So should we ask who she voted for, guys?
As a feminist, I just think that you guys probably could figure that part out.
I don't know. Trump's pretty good with women.
No Bernie? No Bernie?
Only grabbing them inappropriately.
I figured you voted for Bernie.
Yeah, we figured
That's what I
Bernie. That's
thought.
what we all said at lunch.
I figured you did.
No, she's
No.
like, no,
No.
I'm a feminist. I'm not crazy.
So were you like, oh God, when you circled Hillary's name, or were you like, oh, feeling confident about that?
No, I was not feeling confident, at least not in my area.
No, I want to know from elected official. I mean, how, you've been through this. I mean, how did you see it? Could you see through the media haze? I mean, did you think, you know what, she probably isn't going to win, or what did you think?
No, I did not think that she was going to win based on the fact that I had knocked the doors in my area and I was meeting women, Democrat, lifelong Democrat, 50 years plus, that were voting Trump. So I knew we were in trouble early on.
Wow.
Okay, so let's take that right there, because part of the election, you know, that you have all the polls, right, which everybody knew were total BS.
Right.
But then there was a few. I don't want to give a lot of credence to these guys, but the ones that wear like the scream mask, those like anti-government group or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Can't remember the name of that group. The name of that.
Anonymous?
Anonymous.
Yep,
Okay.
Anonymous.
So Anonymous was putting out these polls, and they were basically calling. They were calling across party lines, and they were making sure it was even, like 1,000 Democrats, 1,000 Republicans, 1,000 Independents across all these different counties, and they kept putting their own polls out saying, we are independently polling the nation. We are not listening to the news media, and Trump is ahead by like 15% across the board. And it's just funny that you basically did your own poll by knocking on those doors, and you saw what a lot of people on the ground saw. So what is up with this media stuff? Why do they lie to us like that?
But all of the pollsters do that. And when you are running polls, because we paid for 2 or 3 this last cycle,
Okay.
you have to pick out the demographics. You pick out equal numbers. That's what your pollster does.
Right.
It's just the fact that the pollsters are calling those people who have voted in previous elections.
Right. Likely voters.
Likely voters, that's right. And there were so many people who had never voted before
Yep.
that came out and voted. That's why I said if I had another $1 million, I wouldn't have been able to reach all of the right people because we didn't even know who was going to come out.
Which is
and vote.
crazy because like, a lot of people in this country didn't vote.
Right.
But then you have people like she's saying that never voted that came out.
Yeah,
So
we're going
it's
to
just
take a quick break, and we're going to come
very
back to
odd.
this in a second. I want to talk about your whole election campaign and some of this statistics and whatnot on the polls. You're listening to the Business Happy Hour on 970. Hope you guys are entertained. There's more controversy to come. Stay tuned.
Everyone has a bank, but you definitely need a Frank. Lincoln Lending Group specializes in mortgages that banks won't touch, like loans for people with 1 day out of foreclosure, bankruptcy, and short sale. Call Frank today at 813-MORTGAGE, and remember, you drop the E and he drops the fee. Call Ryan at 813-PLUMBER for the most reliable professional plumber in town. Tampa Bay Plumbers is available day and night for your emergency plumbing needs. Find them on the web at tampaplumber.net and get a coupon for service. Do you have a roof leak but no one to trust? You need to call Doug with Suncoast Roofing Solutions at 888-888-ROOF, where honesty, integrity, and craftsmanship come first. Find them on the web at suncoastroofingsolutions.com. And now, your host of the Business Happy Hour, Frank Cotto.
Hey guys, welcome back to another incredible show with Amanda Murphy and my hosts Ryan Pelkey and Doug Ford. Having a lot of fun with Amanda, getting some insight, and we haven't even really yelled at her yet or anything like that. So
It's coming.
It's coming.
See, Democrats aren't so bad, are they?
Well, all right. Not this one. I have a short list that I'm okay with. No,
Likewise, right?
Hey, there's some Democrats you like too? So, all right. So going back to what we were talking about, the election and the polls, you know, it was interesting what Amanda said about, knocking on doors herself and seeing, 50-year-old plus, Democrat women saying they're voting for Trump. It's I guess I understand now the polls. It was so hard to poll people who never voted before. So, the question is, Amanda, what do you think is going to happen in the next presidential election now that we have the record of all these people who just voted? Do you think our polls might be more accurate?
All the pollsters have been fired, so there's lots of new jobs available.
That is a really good point.
Well, because the other thing I wanted to bring up was the fact that the pollsters use home phones. We're going to have to start using other modes of technology.
Yeah.
And
Of course, yeah.
those of us that are not millennials
Does everybody
will
in here
to
have
use
it?
them.
Doug, do you have a home phone?
We have a home phone, but we don't really use it.
I don't answer it. I've got one
Yeah.
just because Verizon gives it to me or
It
whatever.
rings, but we just
I
never
refused
answer
it.
Yeah, you refused. Well, the only reason I got it, and then I found out this made no sense, was because I thought, oh, well, in a storm, I want to have a copper line. But they don't tell you that if you have
It's VoIP.
Fios, it's VoIP. If you
Yeah,
have
it's VoIP.
Fios, it isn't you. But you can pay them to bring a copper line back into your house. You can do that.
But a plug for home security, if you have a home phone, your home security system is cheaper because they're using that phone instead of having to go through the internet.
We do
Right,
that.
that's why I did
We
it.
do that
Right.
as well.
But it's still through VoIP. It's not a copper line.
Right.
Correct.
Oh,
Ryan?
you're talking fiber optic.
Fiber
Yeah,
optic.
not voice over IP.
Well, I think it's
No, it's still VoIP.
This thing is
Yeah, voice over IP is just where you're talking over the internet.
Correct. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Your home line with Fios or Verizon or whatever the heck it is now.
Oh, I
or-
believe it.
It's that way. Because what happens if you lose power, you'll lose the home phone. Where back in the day, you wouldn't lose on. Stupidest conversation anyway.
You have a
Adam,
cell
you got
phone
this tangent.
if you need it.
Yeah, you got a
Just-
cell phone. So good point. Pollsters use cell phones.
You would think they would have apps by now for that would be much more reliable.
Or email,
anyway.
or
Yeah.
Well, okay, speaking of that, you know what a direct democracy is, right? Okay, so basically, instead of having your electoral college and all that, have
Correct.
people actually vote directly. Well, what do you? My thought on that is we are so technologically advanced right now. We could actually have a direct democracy. You could have an app, like Ryan said, a secure White House app that everybody puts on their mobile thing, or a secure House app or whatever for Florida. And any topic comes up, everybody gets a text and says vote. Boom. Now I imagine that could open up some fraud.
Can you imagine? We can't get 160 people in Tallahassee
Right.
to be on the same page. And the majority of them are Republicans. So
Yeah.
imagine now you're going to give everyone in the country an app to vote.
The biggest argument I get is do you realize that most of the country are complete idiots? So
I did not say that.
I said
But
that.
most people are not going to take the time to study the issue.
Right.
And it's
they're just gonna
not,
click a
they're
button.
not
Yeah, what did we
easy.
have last year? We had like some big company that was promoting like one thing, but it was really for something else.
Solar.
Oh, the solar.
Yeah,
the
so they
biggest
literally
scam on the
they
planet.
went on, they spent
Absolutely.
all this money advertising, and they just tried to screw people over.
And they got in trouble for that, though, didn't they? I mean, it almost passed what they did, but
Did they get in trouble?
I don't know. Did they?
Come on.
It didn't
I don't think
pass.
they got in trouble.
But
it
it
didn't
didn't
pass,
pass,
right?
correct.
But
It
it took
didn't
a
pass.
lot of us working really hard.
Yeah, but like so they
to
just
get
spent
that
money
message out.
to
Yeah,
to
like in the last
lie.
2
I could
weeks.
have been campaigning instead of campaigning for
Yes.
the solar
Right.
to be proper.
It was
Yes.
such
Good point.
it was such a misleading
that's my
piece of
point.
legislation. Like
All
why,
of them are written
Why
that
are
way
they? Why are
All
they
of
do?
them.
Why do they do that?
because we allow it.
I know, but why?
Because what Ryan just said,
Well, I mean,
the average American is not exactly
Yeah.
very smart.
Because
No,
we as a
even
whole are sheep.
intelligent people could sit down and sit at a table and read those amendments and
Right.
get confused.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree 100%.
They're definitely written to
Yeah,
skew
they're written like as a
everyone.
double negative, where you're looking at it and you're like, yeah, this is good, but am I voting for this or am I voting against it?
But that's where we do need to make some major changes.
Right.
I
Simplify
agree.
stuff.
I agree. I was very upset about that because my dad is a big solar guy. He's a big solar contractor. I have solar thermal at my house. I love the technology, and I think it's very sad that we don't have more of it in the state of Florida.
Look at that, folks. Republicans, Democrats, all wanting solar.
Wow.
But we live in the Sunshine
Wait a
State.
minute, wait
You
a
know what I
minute.
mean? It's
Not today.
I think it's
Did you guys hear Trump's going to put solar along the border wall now?
beautiful.
And he's going to sell. He's going to sell power to the.
Did he really say that?
Yeah, he's going to sell the power to Mexico.
to help pay for the wall.
told you they
Yes, to pay for that
I told
wall
you they
or to
did.
staff it, because remember, we have to pay someone to staff it.
So, Amanda, what do you think about the wall?
Oh, come on. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life.
She is a wall supporter. You heard it here on the
That's
Business
right.
Happy Hour.
Bill Clinton came up with it originally.
Oh, yeah?
He did.
True story.
And then he realized that staffing it would cost 10 times more than even building it.
Yeah, but now we have these things called drones
Drones,
that
yes.
fly, and they're powered by the sun.
Yes, and my neighbors love me when
We
I fly
don't
in the
allow those
neighborhood.
then.
Yes.
Yeah, so what?
That's
Hey,
Florida.
that piece of information I sent you, what did your neighbor say about
Okay,
that?
so update on drones. Doug found this piece of information that previously the feds required you, even as a recreational drone pilot, to get a license
Yes.
for your drone, and that was repealed.
Yes, no recreational.
No license for recreational drone flying, which is the way it should be. However, there are still some laws out there that say you're supposed to be within line of sight and whatnot, which hopefully they repeal those because technically you have a live feed on your video screen. So,
But the reason why they do that is because that they don't want you going to your neighbor's house, flying it over there, looking down. It should be in your line of sight above where you're at. That's why.
Correct.
Okay.
There is that where you have to protect the rights of the neighbors.
right. So why not have a minimum ceiling is what I'm saying. Like I got to be at 100 feet. I got to be at 150 feet. I mean, you can't see
There could be
anything.
trees there that tall.
But that for multiple reasons: power lines, trees, privacy. I mean, just give it a minimum. Like
But
right
what
now,
about, yeah, as long as you say, but if you're in an area where it's open and that's what that area is for.
yeah, right. That's okay. I would be fine with that. I would say line of sight, but if you're outside line of sight, you have to be at 100 feet, 125, 150, something like that. So that you're out of the way, Ryan.
We're
Smiling
really
over
good
here.
at getting off topic.
I know.
You're totally off topic.
I'm laughing about that, and I'm also laughing that one of these days you're going to get a shotgun blast to that thing. One of our neighbors is going to come out with a 12 gauge, and it's going to be game over for the Phantom.
Yeah, one of my neighbors made that comment to me, and I sent him a couple links that showed who gets prosecuted in those cases. I was like, hey, what's your name? 3-letter name in my neighborhood. I was like, go ahead and shoot my drone out of the sky. That'll be great. Anyway, I'm a drone guy. So let's talk about something less controversial. Bill Maher. Anybody watch what is it? His show, Idiot on HBO by Bill Maher.
Yeah, that guy.
So here, let's listen to his soundbite.
I got to get to Nebraska more. You're welcome. We'd love to have you work in the fields with us.
Work in the field.
That's part of that. That's
Senator. I'm a house nigga. No, it's
Bill.
There goes his career.
Yeah, well, you know what, Doug? Actually, no.
He hasn't resigned yet.
He has not resigned. He has not been fired. Personally, I mean, I personally don't think he should be. You know, I mean, it's
Just ignorance.
It's ignorance. It's stupidity.
Well, people
you know?
can choose to not turn on his show.
But
I mean,
and there's tons of terrible words out there, and of course that's one of the worst. There's no question. You know, and you could say I don't think he's funny, so I don't consider him a comedian. You know, but still, it was not necessarily a racial context. He wasn't being that way, but it drew a very interesting reaction from the crowd.
Oh,
and the
I thought it was
audience.
hilarious. Honestly,
I mean, I thought the funniest part is I think it was a senator he had on from Kentucky.
that poor guy.
The funny part was that guy's face, because
Did you really just say that?
and he's probably thinking to himself, if I laugh, I'm a racist and I'm out of office. If I don't laugh, I don't even know what to do. I mean, that poor
you're
guy,
screwed
he
either
turned
way.
white when that happened.
There's no proper response for that.
No.
He
Just
lost-
excuse yourself off the stage and get out of there.
And you know what? That's funny. That's what a lot of people said. I think that senator could have gained a lot of votes if he had literally chastised a bill,
Right.
Or gotten a bill. He wouldn't even have to leave. He could have just said simply, "Hey, Bill, that was really inappropriate. I can't believe you say that." Simply.
Right, because just listening to it, my stomach literally did a flip. I'm like, you've got to be kidding
Yeah.
me.
But you know, and I want to, you know, we got to be, let's be real on the show because we're real guys. You know, there is a major double standard with that word in this country, and it's not, you know, look
Well,
at
there
how
are
you want.
multiple words that are there. Are
Tons
double
of words,
standards,
right?
yes,
There's the
but that
C
is
word
one,
about
yes.
women. There's this. There's other racial terms. There is a double standard of words that seem to be accepted by a certain group using, and when another group uses them, it's there is no acceptance.
Well, it's a lot easier to use those types of words especially if it's a little derogatory against yourself,
Sure.
or against your own race, or you know. But
Right.
I mean, it was a really bad.
And Bill
call,
was using
bad
it against
judgment
himself.
call.
He wasn't calling somebody else. You know, I don't like the guy at all.
I'm gonna keep not watching him.
Yeah.
So.
Well, see, yeah, exactly. We're gonna keep that boycott going. That we.
So what's your take on Kathy Griffin?
Oh, Kathy Griffin. I wish we could put that on the screen right now. Okay, so let's ask Amanda her take on Kathy Griffin. You voted for her, right?
Hey, she's a redhead.
I was gonna say.
Gingers have to stick together, but that was a little
ginger.
over.
There's another racist term, right? which is, you know, some people actually take offense to that. I think it's hilarious. I have a redheaded friend, and I'm always like, "Where's the gingerbread cookies?" Come
But
on.
see, she's red. She's redheaded, so she
Right.
could say it.
Oh, that's. Oh my God, I shouldn't have said it.
It's
I'm no
okay.
house ginger.
When I read the whole thing, I'm like, oh, I'm so sad now. But it's all right. I'll own it. I'm a ginger.
Yeah. So what do you think?
But that was a little over the top. I couldn't imagine doing something like that. But she thought she was being funny, and
Yeah. Well, the worst part is how she
Wow.
feels like she's a victim now. And
Yeah,
she's like, they're
seriously,
trying to
she's
ruin my
victim.
life.
Yeah, she's playing the victim card, which is awful.
She's getting exactly what she deserves.
Can you imagine?
well, how much
Simple.
pressure has been put on her, though?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, she put it on herself though.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
she dug her
Hey,
own
Doug,
grave.
gingers are
and
going to
she-
stick together here. Watch out.
She dug her own grave, jumped in it, and backfilled it all on
Yes.
herself. So
Yeah.
Now she's trying to dig out, and it ain't happening.
No.
All I have to say before we take another break is what if that was ahead of Obama 3 years ago and some white guy did that?
Listen, when I was running for
But
office,
let's take a quick break and bring that up as soon as you get back. You're listening to the Business Happy Hour on 970 WFLA. We'll be back in just a minute.
so we're a very porous state.
Yes.
Exactly. Limestone, our geology cannot support fracking.
Well,
No, not
they're
at
going to
all.
have
Not
it.
at all.
They will have it.
Wow.
For what though? For extracting natural gas?
Natural
right?
gas, yeah. Absolutely, because it looks like a hockey puck from the Panhandle up in Panama City down to the Everglades,
A huge area of natural gas.
all the way down the line.
Yeah, what people don't realize is we have more natural resources under our country than any other country in the world, and we're not tapping into them. You know, some of it environmental, some of it safety, some of it money, but now we have the technology to do it. So the question is, do we move towards renewable green energy sources, or do we keep tapping the cheap energy? What do we do? One's our pocketbook, one's our world.
Yeah. Well,
It's a
our
great
pocketbook in Florida is dependent upon our natural resources.
Sure.
I mean, our biggest industry here is tourism by a long
Our biggest is
shot.
Mickey Mouse. But hey, I don't want to cut short. We got to do a quick business tip of the week here.
Yeah,
before
we haven't
say
done it in a
goodbye.
while. We need to keep it back up. But I think what we talked about is, right now being that, I know Ryan's busy, I'm busy, everyone's, in the construction industry super busy, is that, just quality of work.
Yes.
I see it too frequently. The guys get so busy, and then their lack of quality just
Customer service slips.
yeah, customer service, quality of work slips. I mean, everything slips, and then all of a sudden, when we start getting slow again, they've ruined their reputation.
Well, what happens is you have this huge demand and you want to furnish it. You want to furnish that demand and service it, but so you have to hire additional people. Yet there's just no one to hire right
Yeah,
now.
right
That's
now
the
it's
biggest
a
problem.
tough-
I could hire 25 to 50 people probably in the next 12 months, and I could grow a lot more than I cannot grow more than I can hire.
Absolutely, I'm in the same boat.
That's what we were talking about at our production meeting. Was basically don't get short-sighted. Keep up your quality. Quality is what's going to keep you in business for the long run.
Absolutely.
Don't forget that, guys. You heard it here on the Business Happy Hour. Amanda, do you want to come on the next show with us? Do you have any time?
Sure. What are we
All
doing?
right, we're gonna pick up with Amanda here on our next show for next week and have her in and answer some more questions since we didn't get to the rest of the climate and to the water stuff, and I've got some other crazy stuff to really upset her. So we're gonna be back next week on the Business Happy Hour. Thanks for coming, Amanda. Ryan, Doug's been a great show.